What is up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. I hope you all are having a great day and enjoyed yesterday's high tunnel tour. Nathan just put the kiddos to bed. Oh, it looks like he's coming. So we are actually gonna plant some squash out. So we desperately need to plant squash. We were supposed to have planted this squash
weeks ago,
but then we got all that rock in, and where they had to dump the rock and where we had to like maneuver the tractor in and out of, we would have literally ran over all of our squash. So we've pushed it back about as much as we can push it back. Nathan moved a bunch today, so we are able to get a truck in there and a wheelbarrow. We can go ahead and plant, because otherwise, like, the plan was, we were gonna have to compost it, and I was just gonna have to like start over direct seed. So
yep, I'm gonna show you where to dig the holes and plant, and I'm gonna supervise while you work.
Okay. Is that your plan?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, let's head down here so Papa Bear can supervise while Mama works. You guys, he makes you think I don't take care of him, but we know that's not true. Hey, girlies. Hey, Molly, Millie, and Maybelle just had dinner. Hey, girls. Check out the sunflowers. Isn't that so awesome?
That's really cool.
I mean, they are looking just
It's like
so
three waves.
It is, and then we're gonna just keep moving it, so it'll go from like that back paddock to this paddock.
It's really cool.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, all the animals are like, give me attention. So we had to move our artichoke and echinacea out. As you can see, there was some nasty disease that swept through and like almost took all of these out. And I don't know, we have hundreds of dollars worth of dahlias.
Really?
Yeah. So I was terrified. That was a massive undertaking this year. And so I didn't want that disease. Look, you put my table out here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute, babe. Thank you.
This is where I'm going to supervise from.
Okay. Well, since you did all this, you can do it.
Check out this shirt.
Homestead equals home-fed catty wampus acres. That's where we buy our soap from. Alright, so Nate is giving everything a drink of water. I'm going through here and figuring out what I actually want to plant out. So we started all of this for the plant sale, and they just weren't big enough in time. So we were going to do like an on-farm plant sale. Really didn't have the time for that. And so a lot of this I don't know that we're going to be planting. I don't know how much space we have. So I'm just going to go through and kind of shop this. They're at the point now. So I started these in these pulp pots, if y'all remember. Let's see. I mean, check out those roots. That's insane. So, I mean, like, they're starting to put on blossoms and bloom. This is not ideal at all. If you guys kind of just look over here and you can see there's a lot of discoloration, that is just like major nutrient deficiency because they have been in these pots for way too stinking long. So what we are gonna do is we have these Compost Tea Bombs. They're listed on the site. I'll pop a photo in here, put a link down below. But it makes 20 gallons of compost tea. And so we have that made up. And so what I'm going to do after I plant is I'm going to come out tomorrow and I'm going to feed that to all of my plants. The ones that like just got left in these pots way too long and just desperately need a drink of nutrients. They will get a lot of nutrients once they get planted into the soil, because right now they just have this small little, pulp pot full of soil. They'll have all the soil and all the nutrients in a much larger area, but still it is usually always good to, if you're noticing deficiency, treat. We don't ever treat until we notice there's a problem, but some of these are looking a little sad. All right, are we gonna pick which ones we want, babe?
I don't know, are we?
I think so. I think a lot of them, though, we kind of just did like, we kind of just did a mix. So I think these are actually pretty okay. They weren't super dry. Some of these look better than other ones though. Oh, so these are cucumbers right here that I just showed you. These are a median and muncher cucumbers, so we definitely don't need those. I'll try to find someone to give these to. I think the squash and zucchini is what's in the back. Look at that though. It's a good...
We got people coming out this weekend, so...
Oh, we do. We have a huge group of people coming out this weekend, so I can...
What am I doing?
Well, just move it over there because it's cucumbers. We don't need any of those. Oh my gosh, these look so bad, you guys. I'm like slightly shameful to even show you what these look like.
I mean, look at these. These have got
Dead blossoms, I know. So this is just a squash zucchini mix. This is a squash zucchini mix. What are those? This is a cucumber.
Squash zucchini.
This is a cucumber.
These are just straight neck.
Just straight neck. Okay. So maybe grab one of those and I'll grab the best looking ones of these.
Just a 6-pack?
I don't know. We need to go out here and figure out how much space we have. Yeah, so you can see here all the yellowing I was talking about. They just need a drink of something. So, oh yeah, we'll just plant the whole pole pot. Okay. Did you happen to like grab a spade or anything?
Nope, but I can.
Well, no, you're supervising. I'll go do it. Okay. All right, so I do talk about liking to listen, girls, I'm trying to shoot a vlog. They are so loud. Like, Molly was not this vocal. It still is not this vocal. Millie and Maybelle, I'm telling you, they like want the whole town to know.
Mandy, is this why you were wanting to sell these?
I have been told it's like a goat thing though. Goats are just loud, but Molly was just not that way. So you can direct seed your squash and zucchini. I actually prefer to start these things because if you've been following us for a while, you know I like to actually put things in places and have the liberty to move them around. So we are planting these right here in the sunflower patch. So as you can see, there's got the larger sunflowers. Those were transplanted first. Then we did a second wave, a third wave. Later this week, we'll start our fourth wave over here in these blocks. So essentially what we're doing is we are kind of going to start going around the garlic, which is on this side right here. We'll go back behind the sunflowers and border it. We do want to leave our walkway clear here because it's super hard, super compacted. And then that's how we're like getting in to harvest our sunflower. So we are going to leave an area here, but I think like this part back to Nathan, we're able to kind of stagger. So I guess what you and I are going to do, babe, is just start popping plants, maneuvering it around because that's the next spot that he'll start.
Okay, here you go. I'm going to show you where to put them.
Okay. Yeah, you just kind of stagger this area. All right, Nathan is raking off a space.
Too much for shooting.
We're trying to be mindful of our sunflower area. Now we are prepping in another patch just like this on the other side of the high tunnel. But I think the plan is to move like back that way and come this way with the sunny. So we've got this little white area here.
So if you want to leave a walkway, we can get
I think
two plants here.
Yeah.
If you didn't want to leave a walkway, then we can get 3.
I don't think the walkway necessarily here, as long as we can get the vehicle by. It's like here to be able to water, harvest. Like we do all of our harvesting from this side, from the right side. But wait, let's just place stuff.
So what's that?
This is like either a squash or a zucchini. I'm just trying to figure out. You want to stagger these like diagonal?
No.
Or straight?
Yeah. This first row needs to be straight. No, we can get 3 here, not 4. You remember how big they get?
I mean, I know, but that was growing in a raised bed.
You don't think they'll get that big here?
Mm-hmm. right, why don't you give them all your squash tips?
My squash tip?
The squash and zucchini tips. Lay it on them.
I really don't have any tips. Other than I love to eat them. And they're a pain in the neck when they get squash bugs.
What was your tip?
I said I don't have a tip other than I love to eat them. And that they're a pain in the neck when they get squash bugs.
They do. So the way we treat squash bugs, which is really common, which is also why we are deciding to grow them out here, hand pinch them. At the end of the season, if you have a plant that's just completely destroyed by squash bugs, we actually go in and we torch that plant because you don't want to take that and transfer it all to your compost. So if you're composting your plants at the end of the season, anything that's been taken out like that, Nathan just has a heyday going out there and torching them all. We are planting them out here. I do have the trellising squash in the raised bed, but it is like, I'm growing a variety that's a cross between a tromboncino, and the tromboncino doesn't deal with squash bugs as bad. You're still going to get them, but I felt okay putting that in the raised bed, just limiting it to a few plants, and putting these out here because more than likely the squash bugs aren't going to do a lot of damage to our sunflowers, or at least that is the hope. And so I don't know, we're just going to kind of test it, take some notes, see how it works out. Yeah. All right, so we've got 4 right here. 1, 2.
Up.
Against your advice?
Against my advice, but we'll do whatever you want.
Well, let's do 4 and then 3, and we can stagger it in between, you know, so like here, here, and then here.
Okay.
And then we'll do here, 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 here. I got a game plan.
Are all these the same?
It's just a mix. It's a squash and zucchini mix. I don't really know which is which, but we'll find out.
Alright, so you gonna start digging holes or?
Alright, so some specs on the squash and zucchini here. Nathan recommends you plant them about 36 inches apart. I like to live on the wild side, and these are not 36 inches apart. Some of these are a little bit closer, but we are experimenting, and it's so early in the season that there's like, I could probably reseed squash a good 3 times, maybe even more if I needed to. So I'm kind of less worried about this and more just like, hey, let's try to get as many in the ground as we can. Are we having some difficulties with that?
Yeah. I'm on camera.
This is what we do to ourselves. Any other like homestead couple, you're like, oh, let's wait until 8 o'clock after the kids go to bed, after we've already had showers and gotten clean.
Well, this is obviously hard as a rock.
Yeah, because I think it was their walkway, which is why I think that's what this part would have been too. We might need to
So how well do we think these are going to grow?
We don't know. It's an experiment. It's all a trial. Alright guys, it's getting late, but we got it planted. Gosh, talk about less than ideal conditions. A lot of this was just like solid rock. So what, I mean, our goats are literally like kids on a playground right now. They are just like
They're dancing.
They're doing laps around the goat yard. That is the cutest stinking thing I have ever seen. Oh, that's so funny. So what they've done is they've laid the landscape plastic or fabric down, and then they brought compost in on top of that. In this area specifically, there is no more. It's just kind of all washed off. So we're just planting in the native ground that's here, which is really rocky. We live on a ridge. I mentioned in my book that you can grow food in all conditions. You can grow food in a raised bed. You can grow food in in-ground containers. You can grow food in rugged, rocky, less than ideal conditions and still yield food. The important thing is the yield quality, or quantity, I should say, is going to drastically change based off of how you do grow food, right? Like if I planted these in a raised bed with just nutrient dense, you know, like they didn't have to go through all the rocks and like the ground to spread their roots and develop, these plants are gonna grow faster and they're gonna produce more. Here, I'm planting them literally in rocks and saying, hey, figure it out. And plants are resilient, so they're gonna figure it out, but we will 100% yield less growing here.
Yeah.
This was really kind of rocky, and we knew that. We have the kind of the border of the sunflower patch, like I had mentioned, that grass is grown over the landscape fabric that's already established. So that's going to be a project we tackle this week, is getting all of that weeded to where we can actually plant in the compost, and I'm sure those will yield a lot better,
oh, yeah.
you know, fruit from it. So definitely. We have a plan. At least we got some in the ground. That makes me feel better. So while we're working on that, we know that we've got our first succession sowed. How you feel, babe?
Feel great.
It was a nice little date night out here. I've had worse date nights. I've had worse date nights. It feels great out here. Your head's cut off. It feels great. It's slightly romantic that we were planting almost by moonlight.
Guys, I was so comfortable in my recliner. And she says, hey, babe.
No. The truth is, this man was out here on the tractor today, and he said, I'm doing all of this so I can move your table and your green stock, and we can plant squash.
True.
And then we never planted squash, and so I'm like, well.
It's because we didn't want to plant in the heat of the day.
Yeah, for sure. I also have a bunch of okra, so I may just get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and plant the okra out. So it's got plenty of hours to adjust. And it's supposed to be overcast all week, so I think we're good. Thanks for getting out of your comfy recliner for me.
You're welcome, babe.
You're so sweet to me. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Sorry we didn't have better tips and more information.
Until next time.
Until next time. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.